episode Middle Ground with JLE L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That's the theme song, Detroit Love, off my first album, the JLE Experience. Only music and copyright. Don't mute on Facebook. Season 11, we have another amazing guest for you today. We have the host of the Career Suite podcast and principal partner at Drive to Go, Helen G. Sneed, EMBA. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Jeffrey. Hello, everybody.
I have some fun here. Gonna get right to it. First question:
Okay.
What led you to this path?
Since I'm not sure how much people, know about me or my background, I'll give you a little bit of background and then I'll jump into what led me here. So I've had a career in human resources. I've spent approximately 25 years in corporate America and probably another 10 or so working with, for, and around nonprofits. So I have a soft spot for education, self-sufficiency, philanthropy, and money. So you wrap that all together.
I want you on the money.
That's all part of it.
It's basically like money.
So what led me to this path really starts with some mile markers. So I'll lay those out for you and everyone listening or watching this evening. The first mile marker is I spent about 18 years in the foster care system. So that's a major mile marker to just kind of understand why self-sufficiency would be so important and relevant to me and anything that I really talk about. The next mile marker was my foster father, while I was in the system, passed away when I was 14. So pretty much, it's one of those things that you don't forget. It was a Monday night. It was the middle of December. It was cold outside. I was in Connecticut. And the next day I went to school because I recognized that if I didn't get an education and figure out a way to make money, then I wouldn't have a roof over my head. So you see, it started really early. Mm-hmm. The next mile marker, which, it's embarrassing, but it's real. I actually ended up on the, what do you call it? Not the dean's list. What's the other? Academic probation. When I was in college. Yes. So the first time I went to college, I did not do well. So that was a wake-up call. The next mile marker that would be significant for me was the first time I was actually promoted to an operations manager. I was promoted kind of ahead of someone that was older than I was, a little bit more experienced than I was. Oh. So that was a mile marker. And then the next one was when I was selected over a candidate that had more experience in human resources than I did. So there were these different mile markers all along the way that brought me to this career path of human resources, wanting to be a leader, wanting to be a decision maker, and wanting to make money.
Did you watch Ducktail Grump coming up?
No, I didn't.
Scrooge McDuck would like you. He's about that bread too.
When you don't grow up with anything, you recognize or realize real quickly if you want something, you have to be able to pay for
it. That's true. You came a long way. What is Drive to Go?
So Drive the Goal is an HR consulting firm, and we work with businesses and we work with individuals. So both sides of the coin. We spend a lot of time helping people understand how to set goals, determine what goals work for them, and really break them down into bite-sized pieces. That's probably the most difficult part is, how do you take this big lofty dream, right, and turn it into an actual goal and then do it one step at a time and just kind of chip away at it. So that's kind of the essence of what we talk about with people, and wrapped in there is, their resume, their cover letter, mock interviews, how to negotiate a better salary, how to look for the job that really fits them at that particular time, because life changes, right? And so what suits you at 20 is not necessarily what suits you at 30, 40, 50, and so on. When you're single, it's one thing. When you're a parent, it's another. When you have a partner, it's something different, right? So you have all these mile markers in life that can change, the position or the job that you're looking for. And then with businesses, I spend a lot of time talking about, what is it that you really want from your employees, and how realistic are your expectations, and what are you looking to give them, right? Why should someone work with you and for you? And then how do you present that? I see so many people that look desperate on both sides of the coin, right? I'll take anything, I'll hire anyone, and those two usually don't match up very well at all, right? So we talk about what is it that you're really looking for, and how do we help you get there? And then I also do HR audits. There's like a 14-point system. We look at 14 different areas, and we do HR audits for businesses. And a lot of times that's where we see the gaps. They might not have a legal compliance risk, but we can look at how they've written their policies, and we can figure out the gaps and like what's missing and how we can help.
Now, what's an example of an unrealistic expectation a company has told you that you nicely try to tell them that's not going to work?
We expect people to follow every rule in the employee handbook.
Oh. They might be Captain America, but they're going to be that Captain America.
We put it in there for a reason, and things like that. Those are really good ones. Yeah.
That puts a smiling face like, that might happen. It ain't break time. You're fired.
And I think sometimes, policies are written and they're missing that practical application.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They really are. They're missing that practical application. I remember one time an employee complained because they said, I don't have any siblings, so I don't get any time off for funeral leave. And this guy, that I work next to all the time, he's got like 8 siblings, so he always gets time off for a funeral, and I don't. So he gets to use a benefit that I don't get to use. So I should get some money for not always being out on funeral leave. I mean, you just sit there, you scratch your head, like, okay,
what? What are you gonna do with you? I mean, how are you the only child? Wow.
And I mention that because it happens on both ends. I don't want anyone out there thinking like there's unrealistic expectations from the employees as well as businesses. So it's no one's immune to it.
Even though I was a union steward at Wayne State, I ain't never had no one say something wild and crazy.
Wow. Yeah, union negotiations are fun. I've sat at the table for those a couple of times. They're fun. But I, I actually understand where they're coming from and why they become as tense as they are, truthfully. I do.
Yeah, the wild and the case is long dead, so I can speak on it. So a former employee former coworker had to go to a funeral. Supervisor, just bring in a flyer that you win.
Right.
He forgot to bring it. Instead of just saying, okay, my bad, I forgot to bring it. I already worked the deal out. Well, as long as he bring it in, he good. But he was a little sassy with it. So she like, you know what? Bump it. Grieve it. We go to arbitration. I'm like, dude, man, I don't want to go over there for all that. I got to deal with y'all attitudes need to chill. No, they just both kept wooing at each other. So we get there. What's going on? This is what I had in place, blah, blah, blah. He got an attitude and she got an attitude back, and now we're here. And I still want the same deal that I had on the table. Well, that's reasonable. I ain't have to be here for this, man.
That's, one of the things I talk about is, how do you recalibrate your ego, right? Because sometimes that's really what gets in the way is a person's ego. And how do you recalibrate that, right? And it's not always easy. It's not.
Oh, no. I remember one time, I was moved out of my area and was being union. I was being nice. I don't have to go over here to this classroom building because there's a reason I ain't trying to work over there. I ain't trying to be around people like that. They nasty. My boss tried to keep me there. Okay, we have to go this route. So we're in front of the whole sector, and he's asking the question like, well, I need someone to go today, Jeff. Can you go over there? Like, you said you was going to stop taking me out of the area, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me ask, well, what do you want to do, Jeff? Can I speak freely? So I'm leaving disclaimers. That's not my area, and you said I had to go to most, so you can find someone else to do it. Everybody's like, oh, I know me. I can be an asshole. I'm not being one.
No.
I didn't use a tone of know your throat, shut your mouth. Like, why y'all hyping it up? Like, y'all need to chill out because he's starting to feel so kind of way. So I called my union person, hey, man, tell me, man, stop taking me out of my building because I already see his attitude didn't like that. He felt showed up, and I was not at all trying to do that. But everybody else like, ooh, dang, Jeff got with him. Like, shut up. How you doing that? I expressed, I don't want to go over there. He asked, and I had the room to speak, and I spoke respectfully. I didn't want to. I really wanted to be honest, but I didn't. No.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. Even though I wasn't there, I'm still glad you didn't.
Now I learned, like, you know what? I just talk to you because I don't need y'all people create something that ain't even nothing. Then again, I heard you slap the supervisor. Like, I know how the lies go around here. When I was Bigfoot, when I did it, like, no, that didn't happen. It was pretty basic. Now, as a principal partner, what are the duties? Well, what is a principal partner and what are the duties?
Oh, so, I like that question, and I'll tell you why. Okay. There were so many times before I had my own business that I would read on someone's business card that they were the CEO. Mm-hmm. And I said, there's got to be other titles than CEO.
Okay.
Okay. And so for me, it's as simple as, how do you stand out?
Makes sense.
It was that simple, that basic. I chose principal partner. I didn't want to have the title of CEO. I wanted to stand out. I wanted it to be different. I wanted people to remember it. And also, I wanted to have the opportunity to bring my husband into the business. And it just made sense to approach it as a partnership.
Nepotism already. It did make me look at like, is she part of Fortune 500 or something? That was a principal partner. I ain't heard of that one. So it does get the right effect.
Yeah. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm humble. You think these are awesome questions. I really think they're just basic as hell. But I appreciate that. I really do. Now, how did you decide on what services you wanted to offer?
I actually changed what I offered from what Drive the Goal started out as. So in the beginning, in 2015, Drive the Goal actually helped nonprofits raise money. So that's really how it started. And then it evolved into an HR consulting firm. So I didn't begin Drive the Goal initially as an HR consulting firm, even though I had all the experience in HR. It was really philanthropy or philanthropically focused. Okay. And then it, really had a lot to do with COVID, where so many people changed gears. So did I.
Yeah. It changed the world.
Yes.
That got me started doing this.
Yes.
Now, you have a podcast, The Career Suite. How did you get to doing that and the name and all this stuff?
Well, I noticed how frequently people would reach out to me You know, we can help your business. If you spend X amount of dollars, we can help you do this. We can help you with shirts and hats and logos, and you know, we can improve your website. And you know, and everyone wanted money, right? And I understand it. Everyone's got to make money. I get it. I get it. But I just noticed how consistent it was, and I said, "There's got to be another way for me to market my business that isn't going to cost me as much money as it looks like I could spend," right? So even though the general number might be 10% of your revenue, I believe, even then I said, there's got to be a different way. So I have to give credit to one particular person. His name is Brian Miller, and he had has a podcast. Sorry, Brian. He has a podcast, and he invited me to be on his podcast about 1.5 years ago. And I never forgot it because it was the first time I had ever done it. And so eventually I said, let me look into this whole idea of a podcast. And I spent a fair amount of time digging into it. I really did. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to use my podcast as my platform for marketing, while still helping people and not necessarily charging them, right, to listen to my podcasts.
Okay. And that's very creative. When I started mine, when we couldn't go nowhere in 2020, I'm like, well, hell, I watch the sports and political shows. I could do it. Literally on my phone, put it on YouTube or Facebook. Then I learned about Anchor. Like, oh, audio? That's even better. I ain't got to look at nobody. Send them a link. We can talk. I'm done. Then that's when God loves to tap you on that shoulder, like, purpose, help you find it.
Oh, yes.
What? I don't know about no purpose. I don't know my purpose. Like, you doing it now, so figure it out. Get it out the mud. I got it. And then StreamYard came along. I'm like, I ain't trying to. I'm cool in my little pond, treading the water, audio. Man, can't people connect on the show? Like, I don't know about that. Same, came across the advertisement of this. Like, oh man, stream, damn. We got to move up, figure this thing out, research it, and been doing it ever since.
Yeah, I don't remember how many seasons. I mean, you're a pro now. How many seasons are you in? 11?
Yeah, this season 11 because I had terrible booking. Calendar is awesome because I can send you a link and you can pick a day. When I was doing it, I write it down on paper at work, and before I looked up, I got 5 podcasts per day. Like, oh my God, how did you do that? Well, if you don't mind moving back an hour up an hour, we just gonna crank them out. So I just do Monday to Saturday. Then I started meeting people. My man Russ Head, shout out to him. He's like, you're a TV show. I'm like, I never thought of this TV show. Like, no, get your mind right. It's a TV show now. So like TV, they come on certain days a week. So your consumers need to know.
Okay.
We like, okay, well, you can't say you can't watch if it's Friday and Saturday. You know, you ain't gotta go nowhere. Ain't too many people working. You can get that jack after you watch my show. Yeah, drink it while you watch it. You at home. And that got me down to 2 days now.
Okay.
But it's still crazy, 11 seasons.
It is. It is. Great accomplishment. It really is.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Yes.
A lot of sacrifice.
Yes.
Let's be anybody listening. You're trying to go, you got to sacrifice. You got to. Now, we have reached the point of the show where it's all about marketing you. The floor is yours.
I feel like we've just done that, no?
Do it again. You got anything coming up, a book or something?
So, no, I'm not. I don't have book on my agenda. I think because podcasting is so new for me, really. I have 4 episodes, and that's counting the trailer. So really, I have 3 episodes out there, and I'm working on my 4th episode. I publish an episode, publish, launch. I try to say pop just to be different, right? So I pop my episodes every other Tuesday. So the next one coming up is on the 22nd.
Okay.
And, still learning the ropes, really. I rewrite my scripts. I've scratched them and started over. And, so I'm really very, very early stage, infancy stage of podcasting. I will say that I do enjoy it because there's so much around human resources that people don't know, don't understand. There are so many businesses that don't have any human resources talent, whether it's a manager or a director or a business partner, like they don't have anyone. And I don't think, excuse me.
I know, go ahead.
I don't think they realize the risk that's involved. And so I'm hoping that over time, people that are a little curious about HR, they start to listen to the podcast and understand, there really are some differences when you're writing a policy. I'm helping a large company. I can't give out their name, but I'm helping a large company actually rewrite their PTO policy. Because currently their PTO policy is unlimited, and they didn't realize all the pitfalls around having PTO policy that's, entitled unlimited, or with a title or a name that's unlimited. And it really isn't, because when you start asking questions and you start finding out, so can someone actually take 8, 9, 12, 15 weeks off? And, are they going to be called into the office? And, is it really unlimited, right? How does it work with your short-term disability program, your long-term disability? Do you not allow them to take PTO when they come back from disability? So once you start asking those questions, you realize it's really not unlimited. So let's not market it as unlimited. But what can we do? So I think businesses mean well, but sometimes, again, having that practical person who says, okay, so let's look at it from all angles. So instead of calling it unlimited PTO, maybe we call it flexible time off. So just that's the hope anyway, that there's so much to cover in HR. I hope to get to 11 seasons, like you. And there's always a topic that people find there's some value in listening to.
Yeah, you definitely get there. I'm probably going, once I get to that point, I'm probably reach out to you, have with my policies and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Now, how many seasons are you trying to do for a season?
Please say that again. I didn't hear the beginning. Sorry.
No problem. How many episodes are you counting for a season?
So it's interesting you asked that question, because I started in July. So I think my season will end just before Christmas. And so whatever that number turns out to be, I think that will be my number every year, just so that it's the same. Yeah.
So I know I came up with mine from, I watched Smallville, for example. They had 22 episodes, so 22 a season.
Okay.
And I just started a sports show, so it was Anchor first, but then we moved to live streaming, so we just did 13. But now we're going to do 22. All my shows, 22 episodes per season.
Okay.
The one positive, it'll give you content. So if you got something going on, you can pop in a replay episode.
Oh, I noticed that too. Yes, I noticed that you do that as well. So I'm watching you.
StreamYard is awesome. They let you do everything. Like, okay, boom, boom, boom. I just put one on for my tonight social conversation show.
Okay.
Now you do have a website, drive2go.com.
I do.
Someone go there. What good stuff will they find there?
If you do visit drivethegoal.com, and I hope you do, whether it's today, tomorrow, or next week. So if you go to drivethegoal.com, you'll actually see a little bit more about me. You'll hear a little more detail around my story being, in the foster care system. You'll get to meet my husband. He's actually cool. He's really cool. He's a retired chief of police. No, he is. He's cool.
Awesome.
And I say that because he retired from law enforcement and learned how to play the saxophone.
Nice musician. Awesome.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. He's cool. And so you'll get to meet him on my website, but you'll also see how we can help individuals with resumes, cover letters, mock interviews. With his police background and my HR background, we can also help the law enforcement environment or law enforcement sector with oral boards, like prepping for oral boards or promotions within law enforcement. And then with small businesses, helping with leadership training, helping with policies, HR audits. So it really does have a lot to offer, whether you're an individual or a business. And even the nonprofit piece, I've spent just so much time there as well. And you'll also see my associations with the South Lake Chamber of Commerce here in Florida, Society for Human Resource Management, Go Sherm. So you'll see all that on the website as well. And you can schedule a complimentary phone call with me as well.
Okay. I need him as a guest on the show. I ain't had that title on my show yet. Somebody might want to go in that field.
Yeah, and it's what's really great is he gives me the opportunity to talk about changing careers, right? I mean, that's not something you think of, right? I'll be a chief of police and then I'll become a paid saxophonist.
Yeah. I want to get a sax. I got a guitar, got keyboards, but I haven't gotten that one yet. That saxophone sounds real dope.
It is. It really is.
Now, what has been your biggest challenge on your journey?
Whew. So let's see if I can get through this. So my biggest challenge is that I've had to overcome cancer 4 times. 4 times. I'm just making sure it's not 5, because I think I was afraid I was going to have it a 5th time. I think that's what it is. But so that's been my biggest challenge, because, having it once, you say, okay, right, it happens. I made it. I'm here. And it also happened when I was much younger. So I almost had that, like, I'm not worried about that. But then it came again later in life. And that's when I started to think, like, I'm not really going to make it. And then before I fully recovered from that one, I had another one. And it really made me think that that's it. Like, I'm not going to make it. To the point where, there's a lot of apprehension to go to the doctor. Like, I don't want to go to the doctor anymore because I really don't want them to tell me that I have cancer again. And then lo and behold, they did. So that's been my biggest challenge is, it's a medical condition, but it just kept coming in different places in different parts of my body. And it started to make me feel like, I wasn't really going to make it. And that's really been my biggest challenge.
Well, I want to commend, because you tough as nails.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your purpose is great. That Satan trying to take you out of here, but I ain't done with you, so you're gonna be here.
Not yet. Not yet. As feisty as I can be, I guess I still get to hang around.
Mm-hmm. So you got work to do.
I got work to do.
So you in the boat like I'm in the boat. So, in your words, what has been your impact in the community?
My impact in the community, I would say it's twofold.
Okay.
That there's more than hope that fuels my fire, right? It's really being driven. So it is kind of a play on words with my business being drive the goal, but it's being driven, because you can have hope but not really do anything about it.
True.
But it's really being driven to make something of your own life regardless of what comes at you, because something will. There's going to be a curveball. There's probably going to be more than one.
That's true.
The second one is life isn't a straight line.
Yes.
Right. So I can't always see from point A to Z as a straight line. So because of those curveballs, sometimes it's hard to figure out how to get over the mountain, because next time it's not a mountain, it's a hurricane. Right.
Hey, I understand that. My father died when I was 12, and I'm like, why the hell I gotta go figure out life on my own? But this hurt.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other jerk offs you could have did that too, man. Why that gotta be my story? I was a little bitter for a while. Then did all the drug dealers and gangs trying to recruit you. I love women too much. Ain't none in prison, so leave me alone. I'm a nerd. Leave me alone. But you gotta
It's
navigate
difficult.
that. And that when you start getting older, you start realizing, like, okay, that's why you want your dad around, because he got that Yoda game he could pass to you when you come across this situation, that situation. That you sitting there like, okay, well, let me give him some pot, a blunt, some jack, and figure out how to figure out this situation. Before I learned, I need to talk to God. That was learn. You get older, more wise, you learn how to God about it first. That'd be my way to figure out situations. But on this journey now, oddly, God didn't make a mistake. I need to go through all that, attempted suicide in high school and all that, so people I encounter, I can help and reach.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, like, man, I got a black cat walking around me. What the hell is going on? Well, why me? So
And it sounds like you've overcome a lot. It does. It sounds like you've overcome a lot. Your journey wasn't a straight line either.
Nah, it was potholes.
Mm-hmm.
We started laughing at the Joker after a while. Like, okay, here we go, boys and girls. What happened? Oh, okay. Nothing I got to climb over. No, or whatever. Come get to where I'm going. And getting my degree after 20-some years, changing my major, dropping out, going back. Like, wow. Led to all this. So when you win it, you probably think, woe is me, or man, this is bull. But once you started getting through it, God going to reveal to you, in my opinion, that you was tough enough to go through whatever, because the people that need to hear that story will
Exactly.
feel it. If I did it to that person, they too frail, people ain't going to feel it. Like, man, I ain't hearing that. But you like, dang, are you still standing? You know, you seem kind of even keel. All right, well, I'm going through all this, tornadoes, and you get it. I could do it. And then you never know who's watching you. Ain't never gonna say no. They just take a note like, 11 seasons. Okay. That's how you never know. But you do got to get to the end of your journey though. And it's good because when you get there, the caviar, the champagne, it's gonna be all the hard work is gonna pay off. Like, okay. That's why I went through all that, so I could be over here living a good life. Helping other people.
For me, it's eating cheesecake.
That is nice too. I like the Snicker one. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. My go-to is pizza. Pizza and chili. Or chili fries. I can't listen to that voice because I go to Coney Island. Large chili fries, some onions. Like, no, stop listening to the voice. You don't need it. Lose weight. They help you get some food.
Once in a while.
Yeah, you cheat once in a while. But you got a program. I was a short fat kid, so I love the bull jive. I should have been 6. I learned later on, so it ain't good for you. All right. Down to that Yoda game now. What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
So, I really did think about this question. I really did. And I kept thinking, how do I answer this question? So, it's not a straightforward answer. So bear with me.
No problem.
Please bear with me.
Take your time.
When I was growing up, I would kind of admire people that could sing.
Okay.
And I thought, why can't I sing? I want to sing. And I had an uncle, he passed away just about a year ago, and he didn't sing, but he created this radio station, and he called it WRBB in Terryville. And so we didn't sing, but we got to like play music, right?
Okay.
And so that was as close as I could get. And so I was never a dancer, a singer, an athlete, right? So I wasn't all of those easy to identify talented kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not having those parents when, you're 19 and 20 and 25, right? Not having those parents that say, well, this is what you're good at, so focus on this. A lot of it was figuring it out on your own, making those mistakes. Mm-hmm. And no one ever talked about human resources. Boy, that's a career, right? People talk about accountants, right? Mm-hmm. True. So it was always difficult to figure out, like, what is it that I'm going to be good at? What is going to be my purpose? Because I don't seem to fit on this list, right, of things that everybody talks about. So I wanted to bring that up because in finding your purpose, it has so much more to do with who you are as a person. And you might not know someone that does what it is you need to do. And that becomes your purpose. So that's why I wanted to kind of long way around, the story here, because sometimes your purpose is what no one else has either figured out to do, or it's not popular, or it's not common, or it's not something you see advertised. That very well could be your purpose. And own it and run with it. Because I got to tell you, I love having my own HR consulting firm. I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that not everybody and their mother, sister, and brother has one.
That's true.
I really do. I absolutely love that. So your purpose is more about you and less about everybody else.
I feel that because I remember when I wrote my first song in 8th grade, 2-page paper almost. You couldn't tell me I wasn't Babyface. That was my do what I wanted to do. And all through high school, I write songs like, okay, my record I'm gonna be Rebel Force Entertainment. I'm gonna have a group called Harmony, this and this. And like, you just don't. I'm gonna do this. I learned. I would hear so many people be naysayers. I would just be at my desk writing down, drawing pictures of, okay, I'm be at a concert, Joe Louis. Back then, my name was LG. I don't know where the hell I got it from. I laugh at it now. Like, what the hell you calling LG? But that was the name. Like, that's the stage name. I had his group. I had his company, boop, boop. And some people will rain on that visionary in you that, hey, I probably can do it. Like, okay, well, you got to get better at your craft because I was never comfortable standing out. Like, well, Babyface was part of a group, but he did step out and be a solo artist. So if you're gonna be like him, you're gonna be a solo artist, Jeff. Like, well, I don't know where studio at. I ain't got no. I just be in my room, lights off, headphones, singing everybody I like, all the artists. But then as I started getting older, started learning that, okay, well, you're gonna have to step out there and find your voice. And I didn't like nobody personally. All right, I'm far better to do the producer side. Somewhat learned a lot of that, but it still got back to, okay, you got to be you gotta do this. Because I stopped doing music for a while until my producer, Throne Music, he liked the Christian hip hop joy. Amazing Christian artist.
Okay.
And he made a track that I'm like, you gotta get back in music. That's half of you're not whole. And worked with him because I had someone before that I noticed would just let me do my thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm all right. I can get better here. But he really helped me. Like, my goal is to bring out what you're thinking up in here and bring it to life.
Right.
I ain't here to judge you now at that because the first track I ever did, Jesus Forgave Me, like autobiography of my life.
Okay.
And I sounded corny. Now I'm getting upset. I'm from Detroit. Like, we ain't corny, man. I'm a nerd. Corny. So I definitely won't pop, but without the cussing. Like, so you hear the first verse, I was upset. Like, you ain't gonna keep calling me corny. You gonna give me some respect.
Okay.
He played some of his earlier stuff, and I'm like, oh, that was terrible. Like, see, so it's a process.
It's a process.
To get better. So you got to get comfortable with me because my music is the essence of me. Like, I ain't sharing that with you. Hell no. No. You ain't got JLE classified clearance for that. But I had to let that go because, God like you. Books, music, podcasts, and blah, blah. Like, okay. I can't. I just got to be out for the whole world to see. Fine. And I had to get comfortable with him, and really, it helped me get to where I could make the music that would play in my head.
Right.
Be better as an artist. So I do get that you will be doing something that you might not have no one to look at.
Right. And people don't understand it. That's the other thing. It's really difficult if what you want to do, not only is it something you can't see easily or it's not common, but it also makes it difficult to talk to other people about it if they don't understand it either, because a lot of people don't understand HR. So wasn't easy.
You preaching over there, girl. You preaching. The only saving grace I have right now is one of my older brothers. It's like he been to the future and saw all this I'm doing and what it looked like on the other side. He's like, man, trust everybody, watching you. What you doing is phenomenal. Just keep having love for it because you're going to get to like, dude, you got a time machine because you talk like you know what this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still figuring this out as I go. I don't know yet. I have self-doubt sometimes, like, man, just believe. And God said do it, so God don't allow me. I ain't seeing no payoff for it. But this dude, and it's like right on time he called or whatever, like, dang, this dude really, he's seen it. I don't know what God showed that boy, but he's seen what you building. And that would encourage me, okay, well, let's keep doing the work. You're going to find out why the hell he's talking like that, because I hear you, but I don't feel you.
Right.
But I'm going to get there somehow because you saw something. Like, it's just playing out like, oh, yeah, because you were doing that, you're going to have a radio show, boom, boom, like, radio show? What the hell he just say? All right, bro. So, and that's a journey that's tough. And sometimes you might do it alone, and alone you start meeting people to be on your team. Or hopefully you have someone in the beginning with you. But it's definitely uncharted territory when you're the first one doing it. Because you ain't got no book to read on step one.
Right.
You writing the book to your trial and error.
Mm-hmm. It is. So for people trying to find their purpose, in a nutshell, there might not be someone doing it already. You might be a trailblazer. You might have to do a lot of things on your own. There could be so much trial and error that you want to give up. And it really might become several pieces. Like the puzzle may come together later, but there's several pieces. And that goes back to, it really might not be a straight line to find your purpose, but you will find it. It's just recognizing it when it's there and say, this is it. This is mine. This is all mine, and run with it.
Now, it sounds like you got a book over there you need to write.
Eventually, but not right now. I have a podcast to pop. August 22nd is the next episode. So, we're back to bite-sized pieces.
Okay. That sounds awesome. How did you like being in the middle ground?
It was fantastic. I appreciate the platform and the invitation. Really, I do absolutely appreciate it. And while I can't have you be my first guest, you'll be on my top 10 list. How's that?
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
And everyone be on there. I
Okay.
definitely want to thank host of the Chris Sweet podcast, principal partner at Dry to Go, Helen G. Sneed, EMBA, sharing the journey. Hope it helps one. Replay it, share it, and keep working on it.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Really, thank you for your time. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night and stay safe.
You too. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Be well. Bye.
Detroit raised me. Detroit.